You tell me. Tell me.
Is this a work in progress or a finished piece?
What do you think?
It looked complete to me.
Thank you. It's always changing. So recently I pulled out, at the beginning I made a film 35 years ago on Miller, Henry Miller's Not Dead. And initially I had the opening from Henry Miller's Not Dead here. The Miller quote about art is a great luxury. And I had the brick wall that I used with writing on the wall. And then I had a 2-minute interview with me on North Carolina Public Television, talking about Miller and much of the stuff that people have been saying for the last 3 days. Why is he popular? What is it about this? I took that out for various reasons, but as we speak, French subtitles are being put in, but as far as I'm concerned, finito. If you don't have questions, I have questions for you. But the questions for Lisa.
I think you got a comment about how Miller sounds so real.
Okay, how did I do this? Except for the opening quote and the last laugh, it's AI. So someone commented the other day that why would you want to read a story or a novel that was written by AI? You want to know the person behind it. So tell me, Henry's voice and Brenda's voice was synthesized and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked. But it sounded like him, right? It's his words from letters. So in a way, I'm not sure I intended it to start out to be AI, to not look like AI. But how many of you thought that was recordings? All right, my question for you then. The sex chapter. What were you thinking during that?
Centuries. It was centuries. Very honest.
A little uncomfortable?
Why don't you take a poll? How many thought it was perfect, too much, or too little sex?
Brenda loves it. And I edited several books for Brenda. That's how I came to make this. In the original film, I had asked permission. In Henry Miller's Not Dead, I asked permission for the Carson interview and got the rights. And a spread in Playboy and got the rights. And I had very little contact with her at the time. I'm not even sure I talked to her on the phone, maybe letters and cards. And didn't hear from her for over 30 years. And then 4 years ago, she contacted me. She had a couple manuscripts she wanted me to look at. So I ended up editing 3 books in the last 4 years for her. And I wanted to do a project, but she's not going to be filmed. She's not going to go anywhere. She lives a very reclusive life. Has some health problems going on. So I wanted to do something, and in gratitude for what I did for her, she gifted me 2 watercolors, the 2, just a Brooklyn boy and Brenda with blue hair. And I had them up on my wall, and they look great next to each other. I can't express how perfect they look next to each other. And one day, maybe the day after the election, and I was looking for a distraction and a way of getting out of the country. And I started working on this, and I was staring at the paintings, and they started talking to each other. And that's where this came from.
How many letters were there?
That I used in here?
Yeah,
Um,
and in general, like,
Probably 6 or 7 letters. A lot of it is based on Brenda's book. The first one, the first book was, well, she's had another book of letters that she published years ago, but the books I worked on with her, Henry's Venus, I think is the first one, and then Venus in Paris was the last one that this is, much of this is based on. Cheyenne?
The other painting where she's talking, which is in Paris, talking with the big hat, is that an actual original painting, or is that an image that you crafted for the story?
No, it's a painting that Mansour is, I don't use his last name, she does in the book, I don't. Mansour was from one of the wealthiest families in the world, a French-Saudi industrialist family. They build airports and ship ports, seaports. Extremely wealthy. And when she met him, she was actually on the Carson show, she said she was 23. I think her math was a little off. She was actually 28 when she met Henry. Henry was 84, 85. She was right about that. Mansour was also about her age, in the late 20s. So young, really good-looking, incredibly wealthy. I don't know how else to describe him. He hired someone to paint her painting. So that's an original oil. The French artist is in the credits. So I had to trick AI a little bit because AI, the program, I use several AI programs. It wouldn't take nudity. So I had to split the painting right here and use AI to do the lip syncing for the top, and the bottom was a still of the bottom half of the painting, and then put them together. I regret a little bit not being able to jiggle it a little bit. I think that would have been a nice effect, but it's just me.
how long was the relationship?
About 4 years, 1976 to 1980.
What are your hopes for this festival circuit?
I've applied for a few festivals in this country, but my primary goal is France. So one of the things I've learned in applying to festivals is there was even a local festival. I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina, Wrightsville Beach, and there's a kind of well-known film festival there, Kukularis, it's called, and they get 2,000 submissions for maybe 100 acceptance. So you're competing with the world. So it's better to have a more specialized film festival, a niche film festival. So the three I'm really hopeful about in Paris. The first one's going to be Paris in Love. So the film has to have something to do with love in Paris. So I'll change the opening quote talking about love at the end of your life is special. And the quote is going to be a Miller quote about being in love in Paris, in French. A second festival is Bleu Paris, and the film has to have blue as a central component. So that's partly why I loaded up with blue watercolors at the beginning. The title has blue in it, the Guide Bleu. So it's blue all over the place, so I'm hoping my chances are better for that one. And then the third one, a name that's come up a lot in the last couple of days, Rimbaud Film Festival. And I have a Henry Miller Rimbaud quote that'll go up at the beginning. So I'm going to tailor them for these three. And possibly if we gather again next year, there's talk of that, trying to put this together again in Paris. You'll see it again, hopefully.
All right, a very full day today.
And thank you, thanks for sticking around. I know this is, I want to thank Bill and Adrian and Roger and everyone else, and particularly Bill giving me the coveted 10 p.m. slot. I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Did Henry know about the relationship?